And we're live. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Dr. Chelsea M with KC Black Owned. And today I have Chris Goode here from Ruby Jeans Juicery. And we're just going to talk a little bit about what is going on in the economy right now, how your business can handle these pitfalls and challenges, even successes, and then a little Q&A so that you can ask particular questions that we may or may not be able to answer, but still be able to give you some kind of tools for your toolbox so that you can prevail, because that is our ultimate goal. KC Black Owned thrives to help Black entrepreneurs create generational wealth, and we do that in a variety of ways. So we want to thank our members for being here because we care about you. Okay. And it is early in the morning, so I'm still a little puffy, but here we go. Chris, I'll have you introduce yourself, and then we'll get started. We can't hear you. Come on. All the
My bad.
It's okay.
It's 8:03. Good morning. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. My name is Chris. I own Ruby Jeans Juicery and just started Ruby Jeans Foundation and am a fierce advocate for change in Kansas City.
Nice. Okay. And we have on the call Tracy and Shania, who are very prominent business owners here doing their thing. So they're probably busy on the background, but whenever you have a question, you can either type it or just chime in. Okay, so Chris, let's just go ahead and get started. You have been in business 5+ years now, and most of the business owners that will see this video are about 10 years and under, and even some of them are just starting. When it comes to all of these economic changes, what is like a piece of advice you could give for an entrepreneur who's kind of had that business plan laid out, and then boom, the economy hits, and then everything that they imagined changed?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to not think that, these changes with tariffs and rising costs of labor and materials and shipping and so on and so on and so forth are everyone else's problem. I think even if it's something that you don't feel right away, to start research and reading as many articles as you can, seeing what's going on. I mean, in my industry, produce costs have skyrocketed. And I think one of the most tangible and practical things that we've been able to do is we've been able to find collaboration with larger entities that, have an interest in Kansas City, have an interest in the ecosystem, the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Kansas City, and can shield us in a way that doesn't impact them. So looking for partnership and collaboration as a safety net, a mechanism to say, hey, how can I create a win for this bigger entity that doesn't take from them, but also shields us from some of these rising costs. And collaboration has been extremely, extremely critical.
Mm-hmm. And what I have found for smaller businesses, so I would imagine I could hear someone in their mind saying, okay, Chelsea, okay, Chris, like y'all are like well known in the city. I'm just getting started out. How am I going to partner with, another entity who may not know who I am, or maybe there's someone in my niche, my field, that's doing the same thing as me, but they've been around a little bit longer, so they may not want to partner with me. I know what I would say, but what would you say that they needed to kind of like do to one up the next person to get that collaboration and partnership?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, you'd be surprised. We just don't ask. We just don't ask. We get caught in the apprehension of, oh, what they're gonna say, or oh, I'm not there, or oh, and we put so much self-doubt and apprehension in the way of progress. And so I say, you don't know if you don't ask the question. And these larger entities, these larger businesses, especially in Kansas City. Kansas City is pretty dope in the way that typically there are bigger entities that exist somewhere adjacent to your world that actually do care, that don't care about you having a huge brand name or any of that. And so I think it's important to ask the questions, make a list and say like, well, who is in my industry that could support my growth in a way that's not cumbersome for them? So ask the question, you know, make the list, reach out and see what you can find, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, just to put Casey Black owned out on Front Street, I'm in a program right now. It's called the Goodwill something entrepreneurship program. And one of the things that my coach asked me, or kind of prefaced me to focus on throughout the journey of the coaching, she said, your business is not recession proof. So anytime the economy changes, you're going to have to always change your business plan. And as a wife, a mom of two, a friend, a teacher, I can't be changing that business plan so often. So I had to really like bog down and create a business plan that no matter if it's a tornado, I move to a different city, it will always thrive here in Kansas City. I'm not moving, by the way. I don't know why that came out of my mouth, but like no more drastic changes will have to be made because it will kind of run on its own and it'll be impactful no matter what happens in the economy. And so I think a lot of the people on the call here, which I'm great about or feel great about, is that you've been with us through those changes. And I would like to say that, you know, let's switch it around to your business. What customers have you noticed have been with you from when you started to you dipped, then you went back up, then you went back down? That's what we want our consumers to do, in my opinion, is to stay with us for the long haul. So whether, so when we think about like Ruby Jean, like, okay, you can go in there, you can get a power bowl, you can get a drink, but now there's also this foundation. Ooh, I could be a volunteer there. So I think over the course of our businesses, we should be challenging ourselves to also see the growth in our consumer. And so I've been challenging my subscribers to like leave a Google review. Like, what has impacted you that you can share so that someone else will want to come along the journey? Because I think a lot of times whenever I'm doing like an interview with Startland or just any like news entity, they'll try to ask me like, so, you know, this little portion of time, like they try to make it seem like you started this because of George Floyd. No, not really, but that was, you know, an ignition in my soul to really like make sure this thrives and that it stays, you know, consistent. So they don't want to see the consistency. And so the fact that we've been going for so long and we have been having those like creative conversations with relational capital. What do you mean by relational capital? That means you have I have a great relationship with Visit KC, and the things that we've gotten and we've been able to be a part of is because of that relationship. So when you see Visit KC, you just see like the symbol, but I see like specific names of people that work there because I have relationship with them, and they kind of like look out for us and they want to make sure like Black entrepreneurs are visible, they're seen, and you know they want to make sure that their Black owned business directory is up to date, because I told them it wasn't. I was like, I don't know who this is, I don't think they're here anymore, or you know, this one is an inaccurate depiction of that particular business. So that relational capital is going to be like monumental. So when I think about you, Shania, like your Pilates, you're this, like, have you ever, you know, partnered with what is it, Pure Bar? Something like that. Like, you know, what is above you that y'all could all kind of work together, you know, to do. And I've seen you do that on TikTok. I've seen you do that on Instagram. But I'm just saying, like, one day maybe you're at Planet Fitness, you know, sharing a particular space, or skill, or you know, like really just thinking outside of the box. And I hate that that's what we have to do as Black entrepreneurs, but I also think that that's what sets us apart, is our ability to think creatively and do something that hasn't been done before. And that's my TED Talk. Okay, that was a lot. Anybody have a response to that, or a amen, or anything?
No, I think one thing that I thought about when you were talking, you know, like value add. How do we add value? And being recession proof is not necessarily just the, you know, the tangible idea of like, okay, if this economy crashes, you know, like who's going to stop shopping at my business because they don't want books anymore, they don't want to do Pilates anymore. I don't know all the other businesses. I just seen the daiquiri shop, they don't have that discretionary income. But how do we have value from a depth perspective, you know, this intrinsic altruistic perspective that says, you know, our businesses Yes, we have to make revenue. Yes, we have to keep the lights on. But we all serve this city. We serve our community, and I know it. I don't know all of y'all, but I just know who we are and how we operate. Being able to lean into the depth of scale is very, very important in terms of, because every time we've had, bad stuff happen, and we've had a lot of bad stuff happen, just to keep it all the way. People show up, and I don't think that it's because, I think our products are great, but I don't think that's why. I think it's because of how we show up for a community. And, when you start to think about the vacancy of some of our businesses, what does that Kansas City look like? And it's not, it's not a great place, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Shania, you were going to say something also?
I was just going to say, I think that's a great point, but it can be a little nervous, a little scary to reach out to those larger businesses like Pure Bar and like different gyms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, I have been scared this whole time of being an entrepreneur. So I feel you on that. And I even, people may presume like, oh, you have so many followers, you have like the data to back it up. But it's like, ooh, I don't know if those people will follow through. I don't know like if those people will show up. I remember my pastor used to say, he who serves the city wins the city. And so I think we have to really think about like, how are we serving? Like when we say the city, it's like our consumers, like the people that know, like, and trust us. Like, I know that if I go to Shania's studio, I'm going to like feel empowered as a woman or a man, like through Pilates, brain freeze, like Jay, you're going to make sure like I'm having a good time. Virgin with alcohol. So it's like you offer a variety of things. And so and I'll give a perfect example. We posted Lene and Lanisha's business on TikTok, and I'm telling y'all, it's almost at like 100,000 views. And people are like, oh my God, I had no idea. Oh my God, can I come? Oh my God, can I do this? Oh my God, where are you at? Like, and they have been blowing me up. And I've been sending them her way because it's like, I don't know what they're doing. But I just think there's an untapped market that not everybody is aware of. And that's why I'm kind of like a stickler over the directory, because I want to make sure that the information that's out there is relevant for people that are watching, because people are watching from all over the country at Kansas City, and they're preparing, and there's people who DM us often who are looking for specific things to do. So what else was I going to say? And that brings me to Repurpose.io. I really need y'all to get that app or that subscription, whatever. Because I have taken all of my previous content and put it on social. So like on YouTube, we went viral with 25,000 views. I don't know who those people are, but it was an untapped market, and I didn't do anything outside of my norm. And then also it will post your future content. So if you post it on Instagram, it'll post on all your other contents within 2 hours, all your other platforms. So that's just a spiel on that, because I want us to work smarter, not harder. And I do feel the heaviness of the entrepreneurial ecosystem right now. Everybody is trying to like figure out what's the next move, what's the next hustle, what's the next vendor event, what's the next this. It's just so much, like, and to take off social media could be like really helpful, in my opinion.
What was the name of that app you said?
Oh, Repurpose.io. I've emailed it. I'll email it again so that you can, because I want you to use my my link so I can see what y'all doing. It lets me see like, oh, your friend just posted, your friend, I want to be a nosy mama. Okay.
Okay.
Great way for introducing me to that, Chelsea. This is Tracy, but I'm going to take some of the old content that we have and start there and just load it into the app and see if we can repurpose it that way. And then we're also working on some efforts to be more community-based with wellness projects and programs. So you answered the question, Chris, that I had in mind. So I appreciate that.
No problem. What's your business?
Day 28 Wellness. We do wellness products, mainly known probably for CMOS products, but we don't want to it to be, it's not a CMOS business. It's a business that supports wellness efforts. So that could be across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I've met you out, but not formally.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, I just emailed everybody on the call this repurpose app. If you're watching the replay, please DM me and I'll send it to you. Okay. Moving right along. Hopefully this has been helpful so far, y'all. This second baby, the postpartum is trying to take me down. And so I know that I haven't been the best and most attentive to you, but I promise you, Casey Blackone is on the list, and I'm doing things and restructuring so that I can also be a good wife, a good mom, and also a good entrepreneur and servant to you. So, here we go. Okay, so any other comments or things before we move on to kind of like the next section? Okay, so when we talk about like volume and
Can I interrupt you? I don't. Shania, is that how you pronounce your name? She's.
It's Shania.
I'm sorry.
Yes, that's not on me. Shania, you talked to. Is that right?
Yes.
You talked about that it can be scary piece, and you know, it really can. But when you really think about the root of that, you know, like what's the fear? Like what's the real root of the fear? Is it rejection? Is it our own self-doubt? Is it the feeling of like, and no offense, but like, is it the fear of the degradation of our ego? You know, what is the root of the fear? And I think that's really important to analyze, because that fear, if not addressed, even for this, is going to keep being a through line for our businesses, no matter what. Because at the end of the day, you know, that's the thing you got to punch through, because who cares if they say no? Who cares if they don't respond? You know, there's no failure attached to effort when you're trying to scale your business. And it's like pushing that voice away and listening to your powerful voice, your voice that says, well, I mean, there's a spark that got me started to do this in the first place, and going back to that, staying tethered to the root, that seed that said, I'm about to jump out and do this. When people thought you were crazy, when you doubted yourself, when you were crying, I'm going to do this. Keep going back to that. Don't forget that, because everybody in this call came in the game fighting. We came in fighting. We came in fighting. And I don't know the ins and outs of your businesses. You know, I'm familiar with a couple of people on here, even though I can't see your faces. And so just go back to that. You know, I'm still going back to that, and I'm not saying this from any pedestal or anything, but I'm about to be 11 years in my business. I just reached out to H&R Block. We had collaborated years back, and I'm like, man, what can we do? How can we, you know, because I feel honestly on this plateau of sorts myself, even while we're growing. And so I just want to encourage you and affirm you to, you know, acknowledge that voice of fear, but then sit it down and hold it and examine and say, what am I afraid of? And don't let that make you not ask or reach.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
That was powerful.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that definitely gave me some fuel to, you know, keep pushing and keep going. I definitely would say it's a combination of things, like the just not getting a response, you know, and yes, because I have been fighting, I want to keep going, but sometimes it's like, man, like I think Chelsea had mentioned a little bit of it, where it's like, okay, you see other people doing something similar to what you're doing, and you see that they get the response, and you're like, man, what is it that I'm missing? Or not maybe what I'm missing, but what is it that I can do to pivot my business? You know, so it's just a combination of things, but I really appreciate your advice, because yes, you were 100% right.
And I'll say from a very personal stance, we are all chosen by God to do this work. And my downfall was not checking back in with God on the business he gave me, because ultimately I'm in to serve the people.
Yeah.
And the people have hurt me dearly. But I think in your role as a leader, because that's what we all are, leaders get hurt, leaders fall down, but they ultimately, at the end of the day, they have to rise back to the occasion. And I was just like, okay, the consumers are hurting me. The business owners are, telling their banks, I'm taking fraudulent charges. Like, y'all are hurting me, but I'm here to serve you. Like, what do you mean? So it was a lot of repairing that I had to do, because ultimately, right, like, you didn't choose me, I chose you. Like, I was chosen to do this. I have no background in entrepreneurship, but here I am. Okay. And so I had to go back to the basics. Like, okay, what are you doing for the least, the left out, and the lonely? So I give to Shelter KC every month. I help entrepreneurs. I, make sure I give to widows and orphans. I find on Facebook, where can I find a widow? Where can I find an orphan? Even at my church. And I think it was just like those foundational things. Like, God was telling me, like, you want me to bless you. You want these things, but you won't even you won't even, like, you're taking the glory. You're taking my glory. Like, how dare you? So I think we all just need to, like, really go back to the basics. Like, yes, we need to, write the vision, make it plain, and do all those things that are really just like pivotal and like kind of foundational from the Bible. But like, really go back and say, like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, how am I going to use books to bring your name glory? How am I going to use Pilates to bring your name glory? How am I going to do this so that people see you through me?
I agree. I want to chime in real quick about fear. I mean, like you said, I'm fearful every single day, right? I mean, that's just a part of the journey. Like, is this going to work out? Is this what I'm supposed to do? But the worst thing they can do is say no, like Chris said. Like, you're just gonna say no. And I have to remember to go back to the basics. Like, when I was a kid, I would ask for any and everything. Why? Because the worst thing you can do is tell me no. And if you tell me no, then I would just find another way to get what I want. And so I have to remember that child Lanisha and use that as the adult Lanisha. If you tell me no, I'm just going to find another way to get what I want. So I have to remember that when I'm afraid to ask for certain things, I'm afraid to go towards certain things. Like, okay, you'll just tell me no, I'll find a way to get it. And so I just have to continue to remind myself. And then to tie that into what you said, God reminds me every single day when I doubt myself. Every single time I am in my bookstore and I doubt my why and why I'm there and why I'm putting myself through all this stuff, he will send something and make something happen every single time to remind me and say, I got it. And I'm like, every single time. So now that I've noticed that pattern, it lessens the doubt, if that makes sense. Like, I know that he's got it. He's shown me over and over and over again that this is where I'm supposed to be. This is why I'm supposed to be doing these things. So when that fear tries to override my why, then I just remember that God's got it and that I'm on the purpose and I'm on my path. So you have to figure out what the fear is. Like Chris said, you have to figure out what the fear is and what the root of it is. And a lot of it is ego. But you have to get past that and overcome that, and you're going to do whatever it takes for your business. So
it made me think about being a kid and asking my mom, like, if I could spend the night at my cousin's house or they could spend the night at our house. It's like it's about the family gathering is about to be over, and I'm like, ask your mom. No, ask. No,
exactly.
They said no, and it's like, dang, man, I'm tripping. But we asked again.
Yep.
We asked the next weekend. We was like, okay, ask your mama this time. So we got to keep asking our mamas, if our cousins can spend the night.
Yep.
Like, we can't stop, because we want that community that we get. You know what I mean? Yeah, I like that, Lanisha.
Right, and I have a comment, again, Tracy, again, that for me, there definitely is a fear. I think it might be based in, because I've been the kind of person who will just do it rather than, you know, ask for help. But that's absolutely exhausting. It's been exhausting, and maybe works against you, or against me anyway. So I'm definitely trying to change that mindset to be more effective in collaborating with other people, and again, just creating community service efforts that give back to the community in all kind of new creative ways. So that's what we hope to do.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, that was good. So moving into next year about World Cup, everybody, they Chamber, Casey, and everybody, they made it seem like we were apart, and I haven't really heard much. Chris and I are going to talk about some things after this call, but I would just continue doing what you're doing, and I wouldn't specify like any marketing toward it, like specific, like, but I would just continue to like do what you're doing and really emphasize those like hashtags, so that people can see you from different elements. What I'm kind of working on in the background is getting our directory in more corporate hands, because what I notice is, you know, like even at my own job, we use Hawaiian Bros every time we have a lunch or an employee something, and I'm like, ew, I'm tired of this. Like, y'all don't know any other places. So just trying to really diversify what corporate is doing as well, so that they can expand their dollar and put it back into small businesses. But I know I had an email yesterday from someone that said, hey, I filled out that inquiry business form for the like FIFA World Cup page, and she said I hadn't heard back. I'm like, yeah, I haven't either. So I think they're just, excuse me, honestly doing their own thing. I don't know what's going on with that.
They typically don't know. So when I go to the World Cup meetings, I've been to like 6. They
Okay.
don't know. They usually just say, we don't have that information. We don't have that information. What would you like to see? What would you like for it to happen? You know, type of thing. So
Okay.
yeah.
And I would say in that regard, man, we're 8 months out. I'm gonna just be real. You know, maybe there's some unicorn opportunities for a few of us, but they're not coming, if that makes sense. Like, they're not coming to give us the information or give us the opportunity, and so it's gonna be on us collectively to create opportunities. That's what I want to talk to you, Chelsea, about after the cause.
Okay.
We have to create our own and direct our own to our own. It's just is what it is, and you know, if we keep waiting and thinking like, oh, they not happening.
Correct. I agree.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so that brings me to, what strategies are we all using to maintain customer relationship and like loyalty during this kind of like uncertain time where people are getting furloughed, or, you know, not being paid, or not sure when the next check is coming, SNAP benefits are about to end. What are we doing to kind of like maintain those relationships? I'll go last.
I'll lead off. So the and I don't know that we're doing a great job at it, but I think just making sure that when you look at the calendar, there's connectivity across the calendar that stems from your business, that's in collaboration. And then I think it's important that we are all showing up for each other in the way that we want people to show up for us. You know, like I need to get back my bliss. You know, I have to do that, and that's always in my mind. You know, like how do we be what we need ourselves? And so I do a pretty good job of that, of making sure that, you know, the little resources that I have to use are primarily geared towards empowering Black artists, Black vendors, Black business in general, but just actually not as like something, you know, to go and say to post about or anything for us, but just that it's in our DNA. And I think that, you know, also being heavily steeped in community, you know, it's not like a tactic of mine, but I know that it creates trust, but it's the thing that fills me up the most. So whatever I'm doing to serve, I mean, there's not really a week that goes by that I or Ruby Jeans as a business is not in the posture of service or shelter. And by shelter, I mean allowing our platform, our spaces to be utilized by other people that need them for whatever reason, highlighting a jazz artist and making sure he gets ample amount of tips, or highlight whatever it is, on and on and on, but making sure that the depth of, and we talked about this earlier, but the depth of our reach is most important, because a lot of times the things that we focus on are sexy, they're visible, they're above ground. But the thing that is really most nourishing to our business are the things that are below ground, that are unsexy, that are unseen, but that are consistent. And so if you look at your business as a tree, and of course we want this beautiful tree that provides shade and provides fruit and provides nourishment, and provides oxygen, right? We want that, and that's above ground, and we can see that. But then what's underneath the surface? You know, like what is underneath the surface to allow the tree, the customers, the vitality to grow, to continue to be robust? And that's just a question that we all have to continually audit and ask ourselves. But that's what I would say, is that I can firmly say that I'm constantly focused on the rootedness of Ruby Jeans in this community and now beyond this community.
And now, Shania, were you about to go next?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
I kind of. So, I would say I think what we've done is just a little bit, right? Because like again, we're dealing with like a bunch of things all together. But in September, we did like a back to school like drive, and that was like a big thing for me because one, I've never done that before. I don't have any children right now, and so I'm like, why, going into a school and like connecting with the principal and stuff like that. But oh my gosh, after I did that, like my mindset about like my business giving back completely changed. Because I went to the school and I saw the need, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we have like over 400 email subscribers to our newsletter. And like, just imagine like what they could be doing to help this school. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know exactly what it is right now, but it just really kind of opened up my eyes about like giving back in that way. And then, of course, thanks to Ruby Jeans, we've been able to partner with Run It Black, and I've done at least 2 events with Run It Black. Both events, it's not for me, for Beyond Bar Fitness, it was not centered around money or anything, and it was just offering Matt Pilates class like in the parking lot on Truce. And so it's like different things like that. I feel like it's shows like the roots going down, because those were things like I didn't necessarily heavily post about. It's just kind of like us trying to give back, and definitely from this cause encouraged me to like keep going and see where I can, like you guys said, the roots growing down in the tree, not so much growing up all the time.
No,
And
that
I want to add on to that. Your space is beautiful, by the way, ma'am. I just took my very first Pilates reformer class, and it was great. And I did it last week. But I want to say, while I was in there as an entrepreneur, I was like, oh, she can do this in here, she can do. So we need to connect, because my brain was going for you while I was in your space. And I walked around. I was like, okay, yeah, she can really do this, because we want her to stick around. I know you're fairly new. And all those things, but I was like, we want her to stick around. Like, I'm in Midtown and I drove all the way downtown to just make sure I came to your place, because that's what we have to do. So, but yes, I did have some like, okay, she needs to rent this out, she needs to host these parties, like all of these things. So I just wanted to chime in on that before I lost my train of thought on that. So yeah, it's beautiful, by the way. Good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And yes, let's please connect, and please let me know so we can get together. And yeah, I'm here, like you said, I'm here pretty much every day. So yeah, let's connect. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And you brought up subscribers. I have been building trust with subscribers, like, hey, here's what's going on. Hey, here's, next week we're going to be posting like some people have like early Black Friday sales, like really just trying to entice these subscribers to take action. And so a lot of my subscribers are like corporate peeps. It's a little bit of entrepreneurs, but they're more like, I'll look at who, clicked, and it's like, the Toys and Miniature Museum, on their email hashtag or email thread, or it'll be like people from Visit KC or people from Evergy. And I'm like, who are you? It's people I don't even know. And so I just am like, okay, well, somebody knows somebody that knows somebody. And so just really trying to make sure that I send out really good messaging so that people constantly click and they know that it's some sort of consistency with it. So I try to send it out every Monday, sometimes every Sunday, and sometimes in the middle of the week. But I know I overwhelm y'all with emails. I'm so sorry, but it's just, it is what it is. It comes when it comes. So
I think you're doing a good job on emails, because there are times where I don't necessarily, as an entrepreneur, see emails. And so when I see it pop up again, then I click on it. So I think as far as an entrepreneur, I think you found the right formula for that, because if I miss it one round, then I know I can pick it back up on another. So
okay, good. Okay.
Oh,
Yes, welcome.
oh yeah, I just listening. I'm at work, so I gotta listen and chime when I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I have a lot of customers that come in, once or twice, or whatever, or they don't see me again because I'm mostly, a lot of a seasonal entity, and
Yeah.
so a couple of things I use is Square for one has a retention program to where everybody that's purchased from me with a card, you can do like pulls their information into like a big subscription service. You can email them based off of who swiped their card at your station. So I'm working on getting something special for that. And then Google costs a lot of money because I get the bill every month, and I'm like, oh, Google, you cost me money, whatever. But Google has a free service to where their advertising experts will do a one-on-one consultation with you for free for 30 minutes, and they'll go over your page and your Google page and tell you, hey, this is what's working, what's not working, working your content, making videos, this and that, whatever. So this afternoon, I have a 30-minute video with Google to discuss my page and everything, and how to get my viewers up, my advertising dollars, so I can get more business from Google itself. So that's definitely an option for you guys.
Okay. Nice. Thank you for sharing that. It's good to hear your voice. Okay. So, we'll start a little bit of the Q&A. Chris had like a situation going on at his store. And so I'm going to stop the recording. So he may or may not come on, but I'll try to answer some